Hello and welcome to this new video. Today we're going to take a look at the use of motor pump kits at MSF. These kits are designed to provide water in emergency situations. They allow you to pump water from a surface source, river, lake or pond, and from or to a tanker or reservoir. These kits can also be used for direct water distribution. In this video we take a look at the 62 cubic meters per hour diesel motor pump kit, equipped with a Lombardini 315 cubic centimeter engine and a pump with a maximum flow rate of 1,200 litres per minute. This low pressure pump, maximum 3 bars, is designed to operate on a construction site, so it can handle very turbid water containing small solid particles. It is relatively light and therefore also suitable for mobile use, e.g. on a pickup or on a tanker truck. Thanks to its chassis, it can be carried by 2 people quite easily. The kit contains all the accessories to ensure its installation and operation. It is composed of spare parts for standard maintenance, a Gilliman 3-inch to 2-inch reducer, a 3-inch DN80 strainer with non-return valve and spare screen, a 3-inch DN80 gate valve assembly mounted with Gilliman couplings, a cotton cloth module, a 5-litre jerry can of 15W40 motor oil, a funnel with water retention filter, a tool module, a 20-litre metal jerry can for fuel, 3-inch DN80 Halifax type transparent spiral pipes mounted with Gilliman couplings. The kit costs €3,855 at MSF Logistic, weighs 175 kilograms for a volume of 1.1 cubic meters. The first step in installing a motor pump is to choose the right pumping site. It must be easily accessible in all seasons, especially if the pump is to be used to fill a tank truck or a pickup. The pump must also be protected from bad weather, flooding and dust. The site must have been prepared in such a way that the motor pump can be installed as close as possible to the resource. This is to reduce the suction height, which I remind you can never exceed 7 meters, as you have seen in the theoretical module. Make sure to install your motor pump as flat as possible. Caution: motor pumps must never be lowered into a well, as seen in this picture, in order to avoid the accumulation of toxic exhaust gases. The next step is to install the strainer with the non-return valve on the suction pipe. The strainer is equipped with a screen, which will prevent large elements from being sucked. The non-return valve prevents the aspirated water from flowing back and keeps the suction pipe filled with water when the pump is switched off. The strainer is fixed with the help of what are called spanner wrenches, which allow an optimum tightening of the Gilliman couplings, also called symmetric half couplings. You will need to attach a float to keep the strainer about 30 centimeters below the surface of the water to avoid creating turbulence and therefore sucking in air and/or floating vegetation. The strainer should also be 50 centimeters from the bottom to avoid sucking in anything. You can use a closed empty jerry can like the one supplied with the kit and adjust the rope to the suggested distance. The next step is to install the suction hose supplied with the kit. I remind you that you should never use the flat hose for suction. Position the hose towards the suction part of the motor pump. Take this opportunity to check the presence of seals on the Gilliman couplings. Temporarily install the suction hose coupling by tightening it by hand to avoid losing it when you throw it into the water. Then throw the strainer as far from the edge as possible with the adjusted float. Then remove the suction hose connection and fill it completely with a bucket. Do the same for the pump housing. Then connect the hose full of water and tighten the Guillemot couplings firmly with the spanner wrenches. It is normal for some water to escape. If you do not follow these steps, your pump will not prime and you risk damaging it. If possible, do not add extra length to your suction hose. This will limit the risk of air leaks and pressure drops. You will now need to connect the discharge hose to the motor pump by tightening the Guillemot couplings with the spanner wrenches. Make sure there are seals on the Guillemot couplings before assembly. There is no need to fill this hose with water. Check the oil level before starting the motor pump. Caution: this operation must be carried out with the engine cold and stopped. Remove the gauge rod once, wipe it with a cloth, and then put it back in its place. Remove the gauge rod again and check the level is between these two marks. Remember that new pumps are often delivered without oil in the motor. Therefore, be sure to fill up when you're using a new pump. The next step is to check the fuel level. For safety reasons, it is recommended to wait until the engine is cold. Unscrew the cap and visually check the level in the tank. If you have any doubts about the quality of the fuel, you can use a funnel with a separator filter. The central part of the funnel is used to retain water and impurities. After checking the fuel level, make sure the fuel cap is properly and securely closed. It goes without saying that it is strictly forbidden to smoke or use naked flames during these operations for obvious safety reasons. If you need to refuel, don't forget to record the amount of fuel you have added and the date on the follow-up sheet. Finally, check the air filter. To do this, you will need to remove the wing nut, the air filter cover, and the filter cartridge. Check if the filter cartridge is clogged, especially if you are in a dusty environment. Caution: never run the pump without the air filter. This will accelerate wear on the motor. Do not forget to record all operations and the corresponding date on the follow-up sheet. After all these steps, it is finally time to start your motor pump. Make sure that the gas lever, which is locked with a throttle screw, is in the correct position. To stop the engine, simply operate the lever shown here. Then gently pull the launch handle until you feel resistance. Then pull it with a sharp needle. Be careful not to let the starter handle snap back against the engine. This will damage the starter. Remember to record the start time and stop time of the pump unit on the tracking sheet and keep track of the number of hours of operation. The next step is to see if the pumping starts. You can see this by watching the water rise through the clear pipes to the end of the discharge pipe. Pay attention to the condition of your pipes by spotting leaks. This will prevent excessive pressure loss or prime loss of the motor pump. Pressure loss is the dissipation of mechanical energy from a moving fluid through friction. Most often, the term pressure drop is used to quantify the pressure loss within a pipe generated by the friction of the fluid on the pipe. You can find the whole procedure in Technical Sheets 2.28 in Public Health Engineering. Pay close attention to the operating and maintenance instructions to avoid breakdowns that could interrupt the water supply. Thank you for your attention. See you soon for new videos.